dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. To get you on your dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. To get you on your dancing beat.
Hey trainers, it's Dalton
and Mike.
And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon MD. So I know we said it would be a week after, right after E3 that we would discuss, but life. We are still insane and horrible at scheduling recording times. But we honestly didn't really get a lot of information. We got some, but not as much as we were thinking. But honestly, that's not what I wasn't expecting much. Like I said in the last episode, I wasn't holding my breath.
Yeah, we got a lot of what seems like smoke and mirrors. Like they're focusing a lot on, hey, look at everything that that we've already released in different ways. To the point where we kind of forgot about getting a bunch of these things.
Yeah. The stuff we did get, like the new stuff, we got 2 new Pokemon, one that I'm really excited to talk about, and then we got the announcement of the new gym leader, and then not in the trailer, but at Nintendo Treehouse, we got more information on what the game is going to be like. So I say we start off with the gym leader that we got introduced to, the water-type gym leader Nessa, which I don't know if she's going to be before or after Milo, but she seems really cool. Her design is great. Mike mentioned to me that her name is in reference to Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, and he was saying that it was really cool that they're incorporating a lot of lore into it, which, I mean, they usually do, but it's just cool to see it. It's always cool to see it in a new game, them incorporating the lore of the country or area that it's based on.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that nod, to the area that the game is based on. It's going to make it a lot more interesting and a lot more. You're going to have a lot more things to look for. So because they kind of did that, it's just like maybe something I have that maybe this game will have a little more dragon type to it. Just because I know that that's something associated with the area as well. So hopefully we'll get a couple new dragon Pokemon in this game.
I hope so, because I like the dragon type. Dragon type is my second favorite type.
Oh yeah, that was the OP type back in the day.
Back in the day, yes, but then the fairies got introduced.
Yeah, they immediately came in and just...
Then the gays came in and we wrecked everything.
I feel like in every game, you had to get a dragon type on your team somehow, some way. You wanted to be extremely successful.
Or at least knew how to counter a dragon.
Yeah, and that immediately changed. Like, you got to try to get a fairy in there or something that can counter fairy.
But Nessa, she seems like a good trainer. The only Pokemon we saw her use was Dreadnought. And like they said in the previous Direct, all the gym leaders are going to be able to Dynamax their Pokemon, because she was able to Dynamax her Dreadnought, and I don't know if that was just for the demo version that they were playing at E3, or if that's actual gameplay. But it seems like Dreadnought is going to be her ace in the hole, like how Eldegoss is going to be Milo's ace in the hole. And they're going to Dynamax those specific Pokemon. Like I said, I don't know if Dreadnought is going to be her ace Pokemon, or if they're going to change that. But I did think it's cool that they're sticking to their word and saying that all the gym leaders are going to be using Dynamax Pokemon.
Yeah, and one thing that I noticed about the gym was that you do not have to leave the gym to heal your party.
Yes, that's a good bit of information.
Very convenient.
Because I hate it, especially, like, I'm a little behind, and I just recently got a Switch. And so I just started playing Let's Go. I've played Let's Go before on friends' Switches and family Switches, but I never had one for myself. And I just beat Sabrina, and I forgot how infuriating her maze is. And
that would be the most annoying gym in Let's Go, I think.
Yes, but that's a topic for another time. But I think it's good that we don't have to leave the gym and refigure out the maze. Leave the gym, possibly forget the maze on the way there, on the way to the Pokemon Center, and then have to figure it out again once we get back.
Or have to load up on Revive and
yes.
Need to help heal your Pokemon, all while sacrificing PP. So
yeah, we can easily go through all of the gym trainers, and then just before we're about to battle the gym leader, heal our Pokemon.
I like that. It's convenient, but I also feel like it takes away from the difficulty of the game, but also I feel like that's just a preference thing. If you want to make it tougher on yourself, you don't have to go heal your party. If you do want your party refreshed, which ideally you would, but, if you're used to old games and having to, slug it out, then I guess you wouldn't want to, but it's definitely something that I'll use if I have to go through the trainers before the gym leader.
I feel like once I get to gym like 6 or 7, I'll remember that they're there, but I 100% feel like I'm gonna forget that they're there the first few gyms, because I'm used to the old style of gyms where you have to go back. So who knows? I may remember, they may remind you at every gym that you enter, or I may just go through and tough it out until the end. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like, it's just going to be something you forget. But at the same time, if you're having to go back after every battle because you've lost most of your Pokemon to the trainers before the gym leader, you don't really belong in that gym.
Yeah, you need to do some training.
Go back to the wild area and do something.
Yeah.
And so during this E3 period, I had to work a lot during, and unfortunately I couldn't watch a lot of the live streams or anything like that. So I was keeping up with it at work, when I wasn't supposed to, on Twitter. And I was keeping up with what people were saying, and one thing that caught my attention was that somebody said you can't Dynamax until you reach the gym leader.
That's great.
Which I think is awesome. It kind of makes those gym battles mean something even more when you're having to only Dynamax against the gym leader, which is something. It just makes it more of a heightened competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But pivoting from the Dynamaxing news, I think we should cover the new Pokemon that got announced. They didn't get announced within the trailer itself. They got announced during the demo that people got to play at E3. And the 2 new Pokemon that got released were Impidimp, a fairy dark type. I think it's fairy dark. It might be dark fairy. And then Yamper, and Electric Corgi, which I'm so excited about because it's so cute. But I'm going to let Mike talk about Impidimp real quick.
Yeah, Impidimp, that is an amazing typing, first off. I believe it's the first typing that we see ever. So that's going to be very interesting. I feel like it's going to be on our Champions team for some reason. I just have a feeling it's going to be on there, and it's going to be extremely OP. That's just an assumption of mine. But I love the design. It looks kind of reminds me of Ghastly in a way.
Yeah,
But,
it's got the head of Ghastly, but it's definitely a reference to an imp, a little mythical creature that just causes mischief.
Yeah, so that makes sense with the the typing. I feel like it's gonna have a high special attack and speed stat for some reason. I just get that vibe from it.
Me looking at it, I feel like it's going to be one of the rare physical fairies. Like, just because it doesn't look like it's going to be able to utilize. Just looking at it, when you look at a special attacker, usually they've got characteristics that they can shoot beams out of their mouth or spray some sort of dust. This looks like a scrappy little fella that is ready to throw some hands.
That too.
And plus the dark type is not very special. We've got a few special dark moves, but the majority of them are, to my knowledge, they're very physical. Because the dark type in Japan is the evil type, and a lot of the characteristics of dark types are shady and underhanded, so who knows?
Yeah. Why don't you talk about your favorite new addition?
Yes, Yomper. It's a cute little corgi. It's an electric little corgi. I don't think it's gonna evolve, but I don't think it's the Pika clone. I don't think it's the Pika clone because I don't think it's gonna be the Pika clone. I do think it's gonna be owned by the professor of the region, Professor Magnolia. But it is so cute. And I think you get it early on, so I'm definitely catching that thing. It's got a cute little corgi booty with a lightning bolt coming out of it. It's got a little collar, and the reason it's there is because the queen has corgis. I kind of want to name mine after one of the queens of England. Like, I want to catch it and name it after one of the queens of England. Probably the most recent. We love her. We love the queen. God save the queen.
It was definitely something that I was like, okay, is this supposed to be the regional, Pikachu clone? I love that they, the queen is famous for having corgis again with, paying homage to the region that we're in and where the game is based on. So I feel like Game Freak is doing the most, I guess, to try to represent the region well, which should make for an amazing game. I'm not sure if I'd add it on my team, and honestly, I'm kind of worried about your team first off, because last video you loved Wooloo.
Wooloo, this region is just full of really adorable Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie, this region is just full of really cute and adorable Pokemon, and I am here for it.
I definitely don't think I'd add either, or that one. I definitely think I would add Impidimp to my team.
Impidimp definitely, but I think Yomper is going to be one of the Pokemon, unless it evolves into something that has either a really great typing or really great stats, or I just love it so much that I'm going to keep it. I think Yomper is going to be mainly used for taking down Nessa, and then possibly going in the box. But I'm definitely catching it, and it's going to be on my team for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, well, this could help me defeat Nessa, and then go into the box, which I don't personally like to do, but, got to beat the game some way.
Yeah, and got to fill the decks.
Oh,
Speaking of, they made an announcement during the Nintendo Treehouse that Pokemon Home, you'll only be able to transfer in the Pokemon that are in the Galar region decks. And that is making a lot of people very angry. I'm not one of them. Because...
Yeah, I'm not one of them either.
I'm not one of them because I was listening to a podcast minutes before recording, and it's called Good for a Girl Podcast. It's hosted by Jubilee Blaze and her friend Katie. You should go listen to it. It's really great. But they pointed out that Sun and Moon did almost the exact same thing. That you couldn't transfer in Pokemon that weren't in the Alola decks. Honestly, you couldn't transfer in Pokemon for months after Sun and Moon. Pokemon Bank wasn't equipped to handle Sun and Moon just yet. So I don't know why everyone's in an uproar about this. Because they may patch it in later. But the point of a new game is to start with a new team and to beat that region with a new team. And personally, I hope they don't add in a lot of old Pokemon. I love the older games, don't get me wrong. But I also, anytime they add in a lot of really great old Pokemon, they overshadow the new ones, and that's what half my team becomes, is old Pokemon.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think I want Galar Dex Pokemon. I want to, figure out how to use that team rather than bring in a team that I've already, experienced, because I want to say, I remember playing these Sinnoh games on the DS, and it had the port where you could put in, your Game Boy game.
Yeah.
And for me, that was Fire Red, and I brought in my Charizard, who I have no idea what happened to, by the way. I brought I think it was level 75 Charizard over, and, played some of the post-game and just wrecked the game with him and Lance Fernape. And it kind of took away the fun, so
yeah.
If they were to bring it, I'd be cool with it post-game. Would I use it? Probably not. But I do agree. I think the point of this game is to bring in some new Pokemon and just experience Galar for what it is.
And like Jubilee and Katie said, your Pokemon aren't gone. They're going to be in Pokemon Home, and you're going to be able to transfer them in sooner or later, because we're more than likely going to get, it's almost guaranteed now that we're getting a Sinnoh remake in a year or two. So you're going to be able to transfer your Pokemon in sooner or later. And by the time that they do patch it in to where you can transfer in every Pokemon, 95% of us are going to have beaten the game.
Oh yeah.
95% of us will have beaten the game, and will more than likely be done with the post game. When it came to Sun and Moon, like I said, it was months before you could transfer anything in, and even then, Sun and Moon only had the Alola Dex. They were the first game to not have a national Dex. So that's not a new concept. I don't know why everyone's thinking that this is a new concept.
And keep in mind that this is a big step. We're not just getting another title released on our DSs. We're getting a brand new title on a console.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
brand new. This isn't just a new... It is a new game in the series, but it's not just a new game in the series to the DS. This is a new game in the series to the Switch, their platform. I feel like the Switch is going to be around for a very long time. I feel like.
Very long time.
This is their big step. So if it does come into play where they bring up the national deck, it's not going to be for a while.
And plus, we're about to breach like 900 Pokemon. That's a lot. I was thinking about it the other day. By the time we get to Generation 10, we're gonna have over 1,000 Pokemon. And that, like,
Man.
not only is storage for the Pokemon in that game going to be very tricky, but there are people who are like me and have buy one copy to beat it and then constantly replay the other one, just making new teams for them and breeding specific Pokemon for them. You gotta store those Pokemon somewhere, and there's limited storage for almost every game. And integrating the models, the Pokemon models themselves into the most recent game. I think the last mega redesign, I say redesign, I use that phrase loosely, was switching from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald to Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, because that was going from the Game Boy to the DS, but that was still very simple because the systems were very similar. And going from the DS to the 3DS, again, very simple because the systems are almost identical. Going from the DS to the Switch, this is a completely different system. It's not like, oh, we can just press one button and it'll appear here. No, they have to design the Pokemon how they want to look in that game, and then they have to design the motions for that Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. And they have to be so good with it because this game is going to be played on your TV. It's going to be played on your monitor. It's got to be able to stand that. It's not just, if anything, the Game Boy to the DS was half a step. This is from the DS now to the Switch. That's about half a mile of a step.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big change. They've got to, get everything down and make it look good. Because if they just put it and it doesn't look good, they're going to get eaten alive for it. And then they gave us what we wanted, but it's not the way we wanted it. And this community is very picky about things, very quick to say yes or no. So they're just trying to do it right, in my opinion. Let it play Galar, and then
I'm okay with that.
I am.
Because I would much rather have
by the time they invite
I would much rather have a perfect game with a limited dex than a halfway done game in a complete dex.
Yes. And then, speaking of, the decks and new Pokemon, one thing that I saw that I liked, and I saw this on Twitter as well, was that the first time you encounter a Pokemon, it is kind of a random encounter. Not necessarily random, because it is going to come up with that exclamation point from what I saw in the gameplay. But that's the first time you're going to encounter a Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. Imagine you're walking around the wild area, and then Dreadnought pops up as an exclamation point. And that's really cool to see. And then, obviously, if you see him again, he'd come out as, you'd see him walking like a normal Pokemon. So I like that. I'm not sure if Alola did that.
No, Alola did not do... They just did random encounters.
Okay.
Let's Go was the first time... Let's Go was the first game to do overworld encounters.
Yes, and that... They did it well, because I did enjoy that about Let's Go, and that was something I think we talked about them bringing over to Sword and Shield, and I like the way it looks. It's going to be... I know they weren't showing all the Galar Pokemon. There was not all the Pokemon they were showing were Pokemon that we have seen before and played with.
Yeah, and the last thing that I think we should touch on was the fact that they're not going to have Megas or Z Crystals in the game, which I think is great. Because I keep referencing Good for a Girl, but that's just because I was, like I said, I would listen to that minutes before this podcast. It's going to overshadow the new gimmick. And Dynamaxing looks like a really great gimmick that needs its chance in the sun. And who knows, we could get what we got in Alola, because the gimmick in Alola was Z moves. And they still had Megas, but you weren't able to get them until post-game. Which I think may be the case in this one. Like, they're going to still have Megas and Z Crystals, but you're not going to be able to access them until after you've beaten the Elite Four.
Yes, I do like that the fact that Dynamaxing is given its opportunity to shine by itself. You know, when they had Megas and they took it to Alola, you didn't see Megas overshadowing the Z moves. Now it's just Dynamaxing, which, you know, makes it a lot simpler, in my opinion, because imagine having to Dynamax a Mega.
Which I don't think you would be able to. I don't think you would be able to.
I don't think you'd be able to, yeah. That'd be too much.
Because you weren't able to give a Z Crystal to a Mega Evolved Pokemon. Because, like you said, that'd be too overpowered.
It would make things complicated. It would definitely complicate things.
Yeah, you had to choose if you wanted to Mega Evolve or to use a Z Crystal.
Which now, looking at it, I think I would rather Mega Evolve.
Mega is definitely out of the two that three now. Mega is still my favorite, just because it was the more interesting out of the three. But who knows? Dynamaxing could easily take the #1 spot.
Oh yes.
But that's all we really wanted to cover. We know that there was a little bit more information that was given, especially about how Dynamaxing works, but I feel like that would be a good episode just on its own. So I say we're going to sign off for the night. And do you have anything else, Mike?
Please don't make Scorbunny firefighting.
Please. We're getting to where the rumors that were leaked about a month ago, I think, are kind of coming true, and they said that Scorbunny was going to be just pure fire. I would take that above being firefighting.
Interesting. I would rather have firefighting than just pure firefighting. Than just fire, sorry. I don't want another Typhlosion.
I don't want to... We have 3 firefightings already. We don't need a 4th.
Well, then I hope that they make the other Pokemon the other starters, just their respective types.
Who knows? We could have a Hoenn situation, but that also is another video for another day. But until then, see you guys.
Bye, guys.
Dancing feet.